We have been hearing since yesterday on various disruptive technologies that are going to impact geospatial industry like cloud, IoT, location analytics. Now let's imagine an innovation that is going to dismantle an entire global industry that directly generates more than 3 trillion USD in revenues and generates another 1 trillion USD in related sectors. Completely shift the business model and value chains of dozens of segments and revenue streams, including the financial services, insurance, and infrastructure, that directly affects government operations with significant change in the circular flow of income and tax revenues. Drive 8 million workers into unemployment while also creating an abundance of new jobs never before conceptualized. Or unsettle the daily routines of city life, transforming the majority of the world's population. Imagine an innovation that can do these things while also doing savings hundreds and thousands of lives each year, positively impacting the environment on the major scale and greatly improving the quality of life in cities across the world. Redirecting billions of US dollars invested in inefficient and unproductive assets to more efficient investments, and creating completely new industries and value chains that were never before imagined. And yes, if you have guessed this as a description of autonomous car, you're right. The autonomous car is an invention that will profoundly change the world. Well, now the question comes, how? What is the most astonishing is the interconnectivity of each disruption that are happening in the software development phase or operation phase. And these productivity improvements continue to come from new end-to-end autonomous processes, and they involve embedded intelligence, leverage predictive and contextual analytics, real-time optimization tools, and artificial intelligence techniques. Integration of all these disruptive technology as autonomous car is an innovation that will actually going to impact this industry. Few facts that matters today is car utilization is unbelievably inefficient. Our utilization of car is starkly different from the car manufacturing process, which represents one of the most efficient industries today. And according to a study by Morgan Stanley, cars are driven only 4% of the time, and that's 8.4 trillion hours of idle time per year. If you consider the global vehicle fleet with a collective ownership value of 20 trillion USD, the amount of money wasted is staggering. 90% of the automobile accidents are caused by human error, and the leading cause of death for between 4 to 34-year-olds in the United States itself. And it could mean saving millions of lives and injuries per year. Average annual car ownership costs at around $9,000 US dollars, the second most expensive assets after the house. So according to the researcher, the impact of traffic reduction would equate to a full week of time saved per driver each year. PricewaterhouseCoopers indicates that the benefit of autonomous car introduction would impact as much as 90% of the global car fleet, reducing 250 million cars to only 2.5 million in the US alone through a transportation sharing model, and 8 million traffic accidents to 1.1 million. 9 billion gallons of gas to today that is 190 million gallons. So road congestions leads to wasted fuels, and eliminating this would lead to saving of around $158 billion. Now the question comes, will the implementation of autonomous car really happen, and if so, when? No one knows for sure when this technology will replace the average driver, but the consensus seems to be for a vehicle market dominated by autonomous car in around 20 years from today. If of an educated guess available, ABI research predicts 50% of the new vehicles will be autonomous by 2032. And car manufacturers and consulting firms are also calling for a completely autonomous car by 2030. Well, no company wants to be left behind in the road to the pot of gold filled with endless opportunities. We have 30 corporations working on autonomous vehicles today. Audi is aiming to beat all industry predictions and put its A8 driverless limousine in the showroom by 2017. Meanwhile, Tesla has already equipped its Model S electric sedan with a patch called Autopilot. Google plans to partner with different companies to bring a much talked about self-driving car technology to the market. And if Google is pushing for autonomous driving technology, how can China's Google be far behind? So Baidu has partnered with BMW to roll out a self-driving car prototype before the end of this year. General Motors has said that it would introduce a fleet in late 2016. Driverless car will disrupt 13 surprising sectors other than the auto industry itself. So what will happen to the existing car industry and the related services? So these are few of the industries which will be affected by this disruptive innovation. So let's briefly examine the music, movie, or photography industry, how transformative these businesses are. So that will be a similar kind of impact on these industries. Well, navigation and location-based services have become as core of the modern automobile, or the engine, as an engine or a chassis, we can say. The acquisition of HERE recently by a German consortium of automakers consisting of Audi, BMW, and Daimler and others have demonstrated how strategic it is for the automakers to control maps and navigations. When sensors like radar or cameras stop seeing the infotainment systems, map can still deliver useful information. And the map information expected for these new features is much richer and diverse than what is used for simple GPS navigation. And to collect this real-time data, map providers need to employ new methods of gathering information, maybe crowdsourcing using smartphone sensors to let high-definition traffic jam information to be produced for years. Well, the year 2016 will be the year of continuous improvement and new technology debut for driverless car. While many of these improvements will be in the area of LiDAR, sensors, GPS, and new computer chips and storage technologies, there are also policies and ergonomic consideration that enter into this notable trend. So, with this, I leave the floor, and thank you very much for your kind attention.